Hey guys, it's Ostomonday and this week I'm going to be talking about getting married with an ostomy bag. As most of you know, I got married in September 2014 and I was nervous for several reasons. Obviously, you know, it's a big day getting married, but also with an ostomy bag there's always that worry that is it going to leak, and that's one of the big days that you definitely don't want an ostomy bag to leak. So to be fair, I mean, I haven't had that many leaks at all recently. In the early days when I first had my surgery I had a lot of leaks because my stoma is quite problematic, and I've mentioned this a few times, but yeah, I had to move to a convex bag. But in the early days, before I'd even realised there was such thing as a convex bag, I was having a lot of leaks when I was just using the normal flat bag, and yeah, it was just a nightmare. I kind of got to the point where I was worrying that this would be what life was going to be like forever, you know, constantly having leaks, you know, 4, 5, 6 times a day, thinking, is this it now? It's like, am I not able to leave the house and all this kind of stuff? And if you're in that situation, trust me, I know exactly how that feels, but you can get through it, I promise. It's just about finding the right product that makes life easier, but that's a whole other video. Anyway, so I was quite nervous about, you know, what could go wrong, and all these things kind of whir around in your head. And not only was I obviously planning the wedding, so I had lots of stressful stuff going on that side, but I had to kind of think about the day and how I'm going to handle the ostomy situation on the day. So I came up with a little kind of battle plan, which I refer to as the B.R.I.D.E plan. And I did a post about this over on the My Ostomy blog, which I will link below, but I will just go over the highlights and basically cover the things that I did to make sure that the day went smoothly on the ostomy side of things, so that I could focus on the other stuff. For example, what if Chris never turned up? You know, that kind of stuff. So yeah, at least it was one less thing to worry about. So without further ado, let me get into Battleplan B.R.I.D.E. B is for be prepared. Now I'm one of those people that kind of over-plan things, and I always take more than I need. So for example, if I go on holiday, I'll bring like 10 dresses, even though I don't need 10 dresses. I always pack more than I need, just because you never know. And it goes the same with ostomy supplies. I always take more than I need, just so that I'd rather have too many than not enough. And I don't just mean the bags, but I also mean things like the accessories. So adhesive remover sprays, barrier wipes, moldable rings, anything that I would use when either emptying or changing my bag, make sure that I've got enough of. So that is definitely probably the most important thing, because hopefully you won't need to change it during the day, or you know, if you plan correctly you could probably go without having to actually change the bag. You might have to, maybe if you've got a 2-piece, change the pouch bit, but generally hopefully you shouldn't have to need to change the base plate. But just make sure you bring enough stuff if you do need to change the base plate. It's so easy to forget one thing, and that one thing could be like the most integral part of the whole kind of appliance working. So for example, for me, if I forgot to bring my moldable rings, it's one item, but it makes a massive difference. So yeah, just remember to bring everything you could possibly need, and maybe take a little extra, especially if you're staying in the hotel that night, or you know, for a couple of nights, or if you're going straight off to your honeymoon. Again, just remember to bring everything that you're going to need, and maybe a couple more in case if there's any delays or you end up having a leak and you have to go through those supplies. So be prepared. R is for remember to follow the rules. When I say rules, I just mean the usual kind of advice that you get from your stoma nurse. So looking after your skin, cleaning the area properly, making sure all the adhesives come off before you put a new bag on, and make sure it's all dry and all that kind of stuff, just to make sure that the skin is in good condition, so that the bag should stick and there's not going to be any problems, and you know, the healthier the skin the better. I is for insist on good underwear. I use vanilla blush for my ostomy underwear. It's basically it's high-waisted underwear that are gorgeous designs. I mean, some of them are beautiful, but I tend to go for just the plain black ones that are on prescription. But for the wedding, I did go for the sort of bridal range, so I got a pair of ivory lacy ones, and they were gorgeous. And they're fantastic because they've got this pocket built into the front of the underwear, so that you can put the bag, or like me, if you've got 2 bags, you can put the bags inside the pocket so that they're completely supported and they're not kind of sitting against your skin. So if you get all nervous and sweaty like I did on my wedding, you're not going to feel that kind of perspiration, and it's not going to get all warm. It's completely separate from your skin. So that's one thing, but also it's supported so that as the bag fills, it's not going to, because it gets heavier as the bag fills obviously, so it doesn't tug on your skin as much. So it just means that it's supporting everything, it's keeping everything in place, and plus it's really pretty underwear. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of other providers out there, but I just adore vanilla blush, and they actually opened a shop up in Scotland, I believe. I'll put a link to because there's a video all about it. I'll put a link to that video, but check them out if you haven't already. It's just a lovely, fantastic company, and I definitely recommend their products. Not just the really pretty stuff, but they've got swimwear and they've got the items that are on prescription as well, which are brilliant. D is for don't worry too much. There's nothing worse than feeling like a worried bride. I know on my wedding day, I didn't want to have to worry about my ostomy bag. I didn't want to think about my ostomy bag. And from the fact that I was able to plan everything and make sure that I had a fresh bag on and I had all my supplies if I needed them, I didn't have to worry at all. So try not to worry and just think about the day and what it represents to you. And finally, E is for empty the bag regularly. By this, I mean don't forget to empty the bag, because the day will go so quickly you won't believe it. So just excuse yourself when you need to. You know, it's your day, you can take as many breaks as you want. And if it comes to the point where you're worried about how often you're able to go to the toilet to empty the bag, then maybe just schedule it in. You know, when you've got your plan of the day, just think, well, you know, after dinner, maybe that's going to be a time that you need to go. Maybe before, you know, the evening reception starts. Just schedule in some time so that you have these breaks where you know that you can sort of excuse yourself and say, I just need to take care of something. Go off, empty the bag, and, you know, check to make sure that there's nothing untoward going on, making sure that you're happy that the bag is secure, that it's not going to leak, and then, you know, you can come back and enjoy the rest of the party. So yeah, just remember to empty the bag, because like I say, the day will fly by. So that's it for this week. I hope you found it useful. As I say, I wrote a whole blog post about this on the My Ostomy blog, so I will link that below. Sorry I've not been too consistent with my Ostomonday videos recently. It's just that there's been a lot of questions that I've received on Twitter and Facebook of stuff that I've already talked about in older videos, so I've kind of been reposting those. But if there's anything that you want to ask regarding, you know, my 2 stomas, or my experience with Crohn's disease, or my time in the hospital, or leading up to my diagnosis, you know, the symptoms, or anything like that, any question whatsoever, make sure you let me know. You can tweet me, you can message me on Facebook, you can leave a comment, whatever's easiest for you. I'll also link to my blog because there's a contact form on there with all my contact details too. So yeah, get in touch, and I hope you're having an awesome day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.